Greetings in Yeshua's name, or most of you probably call him by Jesus. I also call him Immanuel. I can say one thing I've learned recently is that, sorry I've not been on the blog lately, but you can tell I'm going to major dental. I did get a friend in North Carolina give me a plan that I could pay monthly instead of at one time and for a good cost. I had to travel pretty far to go to it, so I live in the southern part of South Carolina. But meantime, it's slowly getting done. I'm hoping to start getting the temporaries in coming up next month. I hope so. I can chew better. I lost over 20 pounds so far. It's a great diet. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so I come with Immanuel, basically from some guys I met who are Messianic Jews. And I used to teach and be in a Messianic group back in North Carolina, so I understand it a lot. But in Matthew chapter 2, the angel came and proclaimed to Joseph to call the coming Christ, Yeshua in Hebrew, or we call it Jesus today. Important concept I learned years ago is there's no J in Hebrew. If you call a Jew Jesus, they're offended because there's no J in that language. So it would have been addressed Yeshua, which also could be called Joshua, or we call it Joshua in the Old Testament. So that's one area I come in. But in chapter 2, Matthew chapter 2, verse 13, it says, "Now when they had gone, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, 'Get up, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt.'" So the angel was appearing to Joseph a lot. But in the meantime, during that time, the angel, as we get this great passage, especially during Easter time, that it actually is in chapter 1, verse 22. Chapter 1, verse 21. She, which is Mary, Miriam is in Hebrew, will bear a son, and you'll call his name Yeshua, or in our English text, Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins, which we know that. He's our Redeemer. He's our Savior. Now, all this took place to fulfill, verse 22, what was spoken by the Lord, or I call him Adonai, the Hebrew name for Lord, or Jehovah, not Jehovah, Jehovah. Because I think it's very important for we address God. And I don't even say God, I say Yah, Yah-O-H, for I see God as coming from a pagan society rather than from El Shaddai, God, Yah Almighty. And he's in verse 23, "Behold, the virgin, which is Mary, shall be with child, Yeshua, or Immanuel, and shall bear a son, and they shall call him Immanuel." Now, who is they? They is us. They is everyone that became a Christian since that passage. The disciples, they may be calling him Immanuel. They may not address him as Yeshua. They definitely didn't dress him up as Jesus. But they might have addressed him as Immanuel, because it says right there, they, which is the church, which is us who believe, born again church, shall call his name Immanuel, which is translated God with us. And Immanuel starts with an I, not an E. I-M-M-A-N-U-E-L. Matthew 1, verse 23. So that's some conclusions I've come across lately. I will post this video up on my blog, which I'm sorry I have not been on it lately. I also have a serious back issue. I had a bone scan done yesterday, two of them actually, and my spine specialist is going to see it on Wednesday, but before Wednesday, and I go see him on Wednesday. So I don't know what's going on with my back, but I've been in a lot of pain. It hurts me financially because I can't go out and do the computer work I normally do. I've just been kind of a little bit more a handicap. So you be praying for that, for my back, as well as my continued teeth drama, so I can be able to start eating better and not keep losing weight. I think they'll be concerned about that when they come and see me. Okay? Godspeed, and tomorrow I call it Resurrection Day. I don't call it Easter. Easter again is pagan, from Augustine, back centuries ago. That word Easter. Now what's more dominant than the resurrection? Easter bunnies, Easter eggs. That was a big controversy between my ex-wife. I just didn't want to deal with it. And same as Christmas with Santa Claus. You know, that's Satan. That's Hastin. This is the Hebrew word for Satan. It was his way of deferring us from the true attention of Christ's birth, as well as the major factor that makes us who we are, the resurrection. Because he who raised, we will raise with him soon. And I believe we will be raised up soon with the rapture of the church, as these days are showing it more and more. I'll speak more on that later. Godspeed, or I should say Yadspeed, and have a great Resurrection Day tomorrow.